the potential fall of Damascus, Bashar al-Assad fleeing Syria, and Russia's diminishing influence in the region could herald a transformative era in Middle Eastern geopolitics. Turkey's ascent as a pivotal power adds further complexity to an already intricate geopolitical puzzle. This analysis unpacks these developments, shedding light on their implications for regional dynamics and global power balances. Damascus, one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world, holds immense strategic and symbolic value. As the capital of Syria, it serves as the nerve center of Bashar al-Assad's regime. The fall of Damascus would signify not just the military defeat of Assad's government but also the unraveling of a decades-long autocratic rule under the Assad family. Damascus is a critical hub for governance, military coordination, and trade. Its fall would disrupt the Syrian state's ability to function, potentially fracturing the country into zones controlled by rival factions, including remnants of the Syrian Arab Army, rebel groups, and extremist factions. The collapse of the government could exacerbate Syria's ongoing humanitarian crisis, displacing millions more and overwhelming neighboring countries like Turkey, Lebanon, and Jordan. Iran, Assad's staunchest ally, has heavily invested in preserving his regime as part of its broader regional strategy. Losing Damascus would undermine Iran's influence in Syria, disrupting its land corridor to Hezbollah in Lebanon and diminishing its ability to project power in the Levant. If Bashar al-Assad were to flee, it would mark the definitive end of his political era, leaving a leadership vacuum in Syria. Assad's departure would likely lead to the disintegration of loyalist forces, as his leadership has been the unifying factor among factions within the regime. This vacuum could empower opposition groups and exacerbate internal conflicts. Assad's escape could follow historical precedents, such as Saddam Hussein's capture or Hosni Mubarak's trial, though his close alliances with Iran and Russia might ensure him a safer haven. His flight would symbolically end authoritarian governance in Syria, though it might not guarantee peace or stability. Russia has been a cornerstone of Assad's survival, providing military, economic, and diplomatic support. However, a series of geopolitical challenges might be pushing Moscow to the sidelines. Russia's involvement in Ukraine and the consequent Western sanctions have strained its economy, reducing its capacity to project power in Syria effectively. The prolonged war in Ukraine has diverted Russian military and political resources, leaving a vacuum in Syria that other regional players could fill. The fall of Damascus and Assad's flight would signal the failure of Russia's strategy in Syria, diminishing its credibility as a reliable ally in the Middle East. As Russia's influence wanes, Turkey emerges as a critical player in the post-Assad landscape. Turkey has long sought to prevent the establishment of a Kurdish state along its borders while managing the influx of Syrian refugees. The fall of Damascus offers Ankara an opportunity to expand its influence in northern Syria and potentially broker a new power-sharing arrangement. Turkey's rapprochement with Arab states and its ability to mediate between rival factions could position it as a pivotal broker in post-Assad Syria. However, Turkey faces challenges in balancing its interests with those of Iran, the Gulf states, and the US, which may have conflicting agendas in Syria. The absence of a strong central authority in Syria could lead to further fragmentation, with regional and international powers vying for influence. Turkey, Iran, and Arab states like Saudi Arabia might realign their strategies, either clashing or collaborating to fill the vacuum. A fragmented Syria could provide fertile ground for extremist groups to regroup, posing a renewed threat to regional stability and global security. The sidelining of Russia and Turkey's rise would also have far-reaching implications for global power dynamics. Moscow's failure in Syria would weaken its leverage in the Middle East, reducing its ability to counterbalance Western influence. The West might reassess its engagement in Syria, balancing between humanitarian interventions and preventing the resurgence of extremist threats. Turkey's strengthened position could redefine its role within NATO, allowing it to negotiate more assertively with both Western and Eastern powers. The fall of Damascus, Bashar al-Assad's potential flight, and the decline of Russian influence mark a critical turning point in Middle Eastern geopolitics. These developments could propel Turkey to the forefront of the regional power hierarchy while reshaping alliances and conflicts. However, the path forward remains fraught with uncertainties, requiring nuanced strategies to address the humanitarian, security, and geopolitical challenges that lie ahead.